In this video, we're going to take a look at a new offering from Radiotity. It's the Alervites AT1 Push-to-Talk over Cellular HT. I've reviewed several push-to-talk over cellular or PoC radios on the channel, and those reviews were well received, leading me to believe that there's an interest in these devices, although perhaps somewhat of a specialty niche. The pros and cons of the AT1 are the same as with other offerings, so I'll just list a couple of them here briefly. First, they need cellular service to work. No service, no worky. They aren't HTs in the traditional sense of the word, as there is no VHF or UHF coverage such as GMRS or ham radios. They are managed through a smartphone app. The app and the associated back office IT structure are what makes these work. The app isn't required to be active beyond setting things up, but there is a network company that manages the connections just like your cell phone's network carrier. When within cell coverage, they provide nearly instantaneous communication with individuals or groups. That is one-to-one or one-to-many communications. The AT1 is configured to work in North America, Europe, and the UK. That means besides keeping track of time zones, you can connect with anyone within those geographical boundaries at any time. The AT1 provides a lot of user control in setting up groups, so one radio can be configured to communicate with various individuals or groups of folks. Unfortunately, as with many such radios, you can't connect with other radios on other back-end servers. Do your research and get your group the same radios. Check with your vendor, even when choosing different models from the same brand. In the case of the AT1, it comes with SIM cards that connect to 4G networks and can be renewed without charge after their initial 3-year period. Now, let's take a look at what comes in the package. So here's the box that the Alervites AT1s come in. Let's take a look at what we're going to find inside. We'll start with the owner's manual. And we've got a couple of QR codes up here to get you to the OLA radio app if you don't have that already. Several Baofeng radios use the OLA radio app, and so it's quite possible you already have it. Otherwise, here are the QR codes for that. And you can see their push-to-talk over cellular, and it's the AT1. Inside, there's some explanations, drawings, keys are labeled. And then we go into some of the PoC functions that you're going to be doing within the OLA radio app. These include things like joining groups, setting up groups, and those kind of things. If you're familiar with PoC radios, it's a different app, but it's the same kind of thing. And so we're going to go through that here in just a minute. So that's what we've got in the owner's manual. To charge the radio, we've got a couple of USB-C cables, C on one side, A on the other. These are both the same. There was not a wall wart, so you'll plug it into an existing power supply or charge outlet that you might already have around the house. From a security standpoint, it comes with a couple of things. First, some wrist lanyards, if you like wrist lanyards, and then belt clips. And I like these because they snap in, they don't screw in, so they're easy to get into the back of the radio. And we'll look at that here in just a second. Here is one of the Alervites radio. We've got the screen here on the top. We've got a couple of keys here, up and down. We've also got the push to talk over here. And then over here, this is a selection knob, kind of an encoder knob up here at the top, not the volume. The on-off switch is up here at the top as well. And then this little antenna doesn't come off. They're molded in. These are fairly low wattage radios, but since we're talking about PoC over cellular, your cell phone doesn't have much wattage either. On this side, we've got a little cover that we were used to seeing. It's got a 3.5 millimeter plug here for a headphone. And then on the bottom, this also folds up, and it's got the USB-C port here on the bottom to connect to the radio via that USB-C cable that will be used for charging. And then there's no charging port at the bottom of the radio because the battery is included underneath this. So we put a little bit of downward pressure. You can see the battery. And then underneath the battery is a SIM card that you have to install. I found putting these together that getting the SIM card in the little slot and getting the little snap to hold it in place was probably the most difficult part of the whole thing. They both come with the radio, and one for each of the two radios. And as you can see here, two radios come with the set. So that's what you're going to get in the box. If you're finding this video helpful, please click the thumbs up button below the video and subscribe to the Gadget Talk channel if you haven't already. You'll also find thanks and join buttons if you'd like to support the channel more directly. I'll also have affiliate links and a coupon code in the video's description below. Here's a quick power-on tour of the radio showing you how it works. So let's take a look at how these work. Now, I've done some programming, and we're going to look at those clips separately. So this is kind of what the result of the programming is going to be to give you an overview of what we're going to be shooting at. So first, we're going to turn the radios on by pressing the power button here at the top. And it comes up there. It says it's searching. Here, we're going to turn on our other radio.
Use the public network intercom.
Now this one's searching, and it's connecting. And it's in the group that I established. And so I'm going to switch these around. This is Jim 1. This is Jim 2. And I'm going to increase the volume here so that you can hear it a little better. So I'm going to press the up buttons. You can see the volume is going up there. It's on volume number 6, so it'll be quite loud in hopes that my microphone will pick that up. Now, on this side, we've got the push to talk. This key here is called the group key, and if we push it, it's going to give us the members of our group. And so in this case, this radio is Jim 1. Jim 2 is the one here. So if we want it, we can select. And now we've picked that radio for a private call. And so I'm going to put this radio up here by the mic, and you're going to see that the call comes in. So we'll do the press to talk. Test, 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 test. Test, test. And so you could hear that. It's still kind of low. I'm going to turn that volume up a little more. Now, this is the group key, and I can rotate this, and it's not going to change anything because I only have one group. But if I had more than one radio here, and I had a group of radios, and I've got some family that use it. Maybe I'm using it in the business, so I can have my housekeeping team on one and my security team on the other, that kind of thing. All of these, of course, work without a license. So that's what that group key does. Now over here, we've got the menu key, and it gives me all my groups. I can create a group, join a group, and my system setups. And I'll do some clips that show each of those things individually. And so here, if I want to call, this one is set to group 1 or Jim 1, the group there. So if I do a radio transmission here, press to talk, you can hear it's going to come over this one. Test, 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 test. Test, 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 test. And so you can see that those things occur just a couple of, a half a second later, because it's got to go through the cell system to come back. And so here we've got up and down. I can navigate. You can see a minute ago I was changing the volume on this key, and then this key also then takes me into a menu where I can see my menu list. If I want to select that, I can see I've got Jim 1, Jim 2, and then one here that I'm not sure what that is. So I've got my Jim private group here. I can hit OK there.
Enter Team Private.
That's quite loud now. And then in this one, I can go attempt call. and I can do a temporary call, which means it's a one-on-one call and it won't stay that way. So I can select it. And now if I call, it'll go to this radio. And then when I turn the radios off and for after a while, that setting will go away. So if I had a bunch of radios listed, I could use my scroll keys here to go up and down to the various members of my group, select the one or more that I wanted to talk to, and I could do a temporary subgroup, if you will, and just talk to the people who are in that group. So we'll put this again, we'll go down. I can invite a member, and when I do that, it's going to give me the group code, the group ID number, the sharing code, and so all of that will be there. And so another member with one of these radios could type in the share code into their radio and join the group. And then here I could disband the group. So when I go into menus, that's this menu. And then when I go over here, I have the shortcut menu that'll give me, some operational aspects. So, who my member is, temporary call, and the things we just talked about. So that's how the radios work. They're really pretty simple. So in these following clips, we'll go through the programming and the setting up of the groups, giving the phones an alias so that I can have a name that's meaningful to me, not just a jumble of numbers that they have when they come out of the box. Now let's take a few minutes to go through some of the setup process for those of you who haven't worked with these kinds of radios before. So I have bound this device. Let me go through the process with you. You see I've got the POC radio here. I'm going to go add. I'm going to go bind device. And then I've got the enter IMEI here. And here in my radio, then I'm going to go to menu. I'm going to go up one, which takes me to the bottom of the list for about. And then I'm going to go up here. And you can see I get one that says IMEI. And then I'm going to hit the scan here and scan it in. Now, I'm not going to do that since I've already done that. It took me a while to figure that out because when you go up here, you also get one that says ICCID, and that one's not going to work. So you want to make sure you've got the IMEI. And so when you've got that done, then the radio will bind. You hit bind device, and it just opens up here in the app. And so now I'm going to come here, and you can see that the radio I have is this radio, which is 2345. So after I've done that, if I press up here, I can see that there's my push to talk radio there, and it's 83427. So I'll touch that, and now I've got this information here. So when I bind this, I'm going to have this screen pop up, and it gives me my device name, the model number, avatar if I want to put one of those in, where my battery is, all of this information, and you can make some of these changes, and then it gives you the opportunity to unbind the device should you want to. Now you can see here that with this one, it comes up as PTT 20645, and the other one, as I bring that up here, is PTT 83427. Now, those aren't particularly handy ways to keep these in line. So we've got the device name, and when we press on that, then we can edit that. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to take this out. I'm going to call it Jim 1. I'm going to confirm that. So now I've got that, and you can see it changed here on the radio to Jim 1. Now, if I go here to my other one, and let me back out of this, I can see this is the one that ends in 427. I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to drop down. There's my Jim 1. Here's 427. So I'm going to open that up. I've moved through here, and now I'm on 427. I can select that. And then I get that device detail screen again. So I'm going to touch this, and then I'm going to edit. I'm going to go back. I'm going to call this one Gym 2. I'm going to hit confirm. And we see over here that now the radio has its name displayed as PTT Gym 2. So when I come out of here, I've got these two devices. And so here I am back in a contact screen. And so there's a variety of these points that you're going to have to go to just to get this all laid out and figured out at the same time. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the radio, into the settings, and make a couple of changes there. So I'm going to go to menu. Set this here so you can see it. I'm going to go down to system settings. I've got SIM 1 selected. I've already checked that. You can see that this will take 2 SIMs, or it'll select the one that has the best coverage if you have 2 SIMs in it. I'm going to go back. Power settings, I'm not going to worry about that. The tone, time zone I am going to fix. So the current time says it's 8 o'clock. It is not 8 o'clock. So, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to touch this a bunch of times. It says the selected zone is plus 745, and my zone here is minus 7. And so now my current zone and my selected zone are both their time zone. If I go back, it tells me that my time is now set. It's the 4th of June at 10:07. That's correct. So getting the right time zone is going to populate that here on the screen. There's not much more I really need to set here. I can make changes to the receiving backlight. You can unbind the device, and you can change your mic gain if you're getting audio reports that says you're not being heard. A version update will select that. It's automatically checking for a new version, and it tells me I have the latest version. So I'm going to go back. So that's good that you can update the firmware on this little guy. And so that's pretty much all of the settings that we're going to have to worry about here. Now, if we go up to all groups, we don't have any groups established. So back to the manual, and we'll look at the idea of how we're going to go about setting up groups. We can do that in the app, or of course, we can do that here in the phone itself. But let's start at the app. So now I've gone into my devices, the POC radios. I don't have any groups established. I've selected Gym 1. So I'm going to go up here to create a group. And these tells me I can have, group comms, I can share locations, private calls, that kind of thing. And it asks me to enter a group name. So I'm going to call it Gym Private. I think I've got about 11 characters that I can use. So I'm going to call Gym Private. I'm going to hit done on my phone. I'm going to create the group. And so you can see my groups are now created. And if I touch Gym Private, it'll ask you if I want to join the group. I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to go back here, my devices, and you can see here that I've got Gym 1 and I've got Gym Private. So if I go here and look at my groups, so I've got Gym Private now comes up, and so I'm good there. Okay, now I've got this other phone I need to deal with. So I'll switch those out here. So now with Gym 1 selected and Gym Private, I'm going to press on this, and then I'm going to go up to my 3 little dots. It gives me my group settings, Gym Private, so forth. If I want to share location, I can turn that on here. But I want to get an invitation code here, I believe, is what I want to do. And then here, I want to join a group. And I want to enter the code. So it's 857-291. So 8 5, 7, pressing back to move the little dot, 2, 9, 1. That's the last one, so I'm going to press the button over here. And then OK. And we'll keep the original group. I'll just hit OK.
Join group OK.
And so now this one is also on Jim Private, and this is number Jim 2 radio. So with both of these on Jim Private and set, this one I have to change the time on, but if I press to test here, you can see that they come through. And this one, it also comes through. So the two radios are talking to one another. So there's a little bit of fiddling around with this to get the group set up, and you can have as many groups as you want, and you can just go through that process to establish groups for each of the radios. So if you're having a whole group of these radios together, so you can have individuals, you can have subgroups, you just select them using the menu on the radio. As mentioned earlier, these POC devices fill a particular need for a somewhat narrow band of users. If you're in that band, however, they can be a very handy tool in streamlining communications. For example, these devices would be great if your business services customers all around town. No need to go through a couple of steps to connect with your employees. Just press to talk and connect. Similarly, you can use them just like other walkie-talkies around a business, such as a motel complex or storage lot. Each employee is just a press away. Unlike some other radio solutions, you don't need to worry about licensing requirements. At a family level, these would allow you to keep in contact with other travelers during a road trip, or even remove some of the complications of staying in contact with an older family member who just can't seem to figure out his or her smartphone. Again, please be sure to click the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel to be notified when we post new content. Comments are welcome. Join me over here for another video I think you'll like. Thanks for watching.